place paragraph 8 onwards of your Lordship's last order. And then I just have a few suggestions and requests, which I'll just make over a short note.
Yes.
So para 8, it's on page 6. Adverting to the issues flagged by the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta and which are required to be addressed, we deem it appropriate to issue the following directions. The Election Commission of India will ensure that no mandatory tab, etc., which might disrupt the process is introduced unless approved by the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta. The technical issues in the portal causing disruptions prior to 7th March 2026 will be effectively addressed, ensuring that no such disruption takes place. 3. New login IDs will be created as and when required for the judicial officers promptly and without wasting any time. During the course of the hearing, Learned Senior Counsel on behalf of the petitioners has pointed out two important issues. One, the mechanism of appeal by those who claim inclusion in a voters list has been rejected by the judicial officers, and two, the publication of a supplementary list, particularly when more than 10,16,000 plus objections have already been disposed of. As regards the first issue, namely the provision of an appeal, our order of 24th February 2026 in no uncertain terms points out that when the order passed by the judicial officers will not be subjected to appeal before any executive or administrative officer. That being so, the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta may request some former Chief Justices and many former judges of the High Court, preferably the High Court of Calcutta or of the neighboring states, who shall be notified as the appellate tribunals, tribunals. The Election Commission of India will issue a notification in consultation with the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court, notifying the former Chief Justice judges or former judges alone, if no
this
yes.
has been done.
Yes, so this is progressing, but it hasn't really. My instructions are it hasn't started functioning or operating. And then your Lordship, paragraph 14.
Notified day before, I think.
Paragraph 14, your Lordships will see, insofar as the issue of publication of supplementary lists is concerned, both sides shall be at liberty to approach the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court in Calcutta for publication of a supplementary list of the persons whose objection is already stands disposed of.
Yesterday, that has also been.
Yes. Now, my lords, may I just hand over a single page and just so that your Lordships may just consider whether further corrections.
We can just point out.
Yes.
On the administrative side exercise.
Yes.
He just keeps on sending communication to us.
To your Lordships.
Sometimes telling that this what has been done. This is the
yes. So we would like, my lords, the tribunals, of course, to actually everybody wants the process to complete as swiftly as possible. So if your Lordship just takes up this note, it just gives you the picture, the overall picture, and a few suggestions. So, my lords, the total number of cases under adjudication as on 23rd March 2026 was 60 lakhs. On 23rd March 2026, the first supplementary list of adjudicated cases was published with approximately 27 lakh cases disposed of by the judicial officers. No consolidated list or data about the total deletions has been made public, and the electors can verify their own individual status online. So you can go individually. The Election Commission can correct us, but our estimate is it's about 26 lakhs. In the first phase of elections in West Bengal, in respect of 152 assembly constituencies, the last date for filing nomination forms is 6th of April 2026. The polling day for the phase is 23rd April 2026. For the second phase, 142 assembly constituencies, where the last date of filing nomination is 9th April and the polling date is 29th April 26. In terms of Section 23(3) of the RP Act 1950, the electoral roll is to be frozen on the last date of filing of nomination forms in respect of each constituency. At the rate at which the disposal of the cases under adjudication has taken place in the last 30 days, it will be extremely difficult for the judicial officers, in spite of their best efforts, to complete the adjudication in respect of the first phase by 6th April or by 9th April for the second phase. To ensure that no eligible elector is left out, considering these extraordinary circumstances, this Honorable Court may consider issuing an appropriate direction deeming the freezing of electoral rolls 7 days prior to the polling date, that is 16th April 2026 for the first phase and 22nd April 2026 for the second phase, so that the under adjudication cases are disposed of by them. The Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court has, with a notification of 20th March, constituted 19 tribunals in respect of the districts of West Bengal to hear appeals against the UA cases. The Honorable Court may consider requesting the High Court to ensure that the tribunals are functioning with immediate effect so that the electors found ineligible by the judicial officers may exercise the right to appeal, and the tribunals also have reasonable time to dispose of the appeals at least 7 days prior to the last date of polling in each of the phases. This honorable court may also direct the electors found eligible by these tribunals to be added to the supplementary voters list. The electors filing appeals may be allowed to be represented either on their own or through authorized representatives and be given an opportunity of hearing. For those cases which remain, this is just a suggestion, your lordships may consider it, because these are people, as your lordship know, who have been mapped. For those cases which remain pending under adjudication or under appeal even after the last date, they may be given a right to vote since they are on the draft roll and admittedly mapped electors. In many instances, these electors may have been voters in previous elections. So we are suggesting this as a default mode. It is pertinent to note that there are at least, this is important, that this request will apply to candidates of all parties. It is pertinent to note that there are at least 14 candidates nominated by a political party who are presently marked under adjudication. They will not be able to file their nominations on 6th April 2026 if their case is not disposed of by then. For all candidates of all political parties who are under adjudication, their cases may be expedited and appeals also taken up on a priority. This honorable court may consider directing all subsequent supplementary lists to be published on a daily basis, so that there's no rush towards the end. So these are our suggestions.
Most of these issues are a kind of involved an administrative exercise to be undertaken by the judicial officers or by the Chief Justice or by the tribunal.
Yeah, it has to be done quickly, but there's a human limitation. How fast can they operate?
Barring that two issues where you are seeking the judicial intervention by us.
Yes.
The rest of the issues can be taken up with the Chief Justice.
I believe so. I believe so. They can be, because everybody wants it to complete as soon as possible.
Para 5, para 8.
Mm.
These are the two things.
Mm.
Keep this can't do.
Yeah.
Yes, keep this better. We have to do each of this.
You can make an observation.
Do it now. Who's made the statue?
No, I don't think that you're allowing all of these.
See, once the last day for nomination, scrutiny and rejection acceptance, how many days election hearing? 15 days?
14 days. 14 campaign, 14 15. 14 minimum. It can be more also.
It's put up by a political party.
Yeah.
I think both sides or whatever, maybe 5, 6 political party, all of them can go and point out to the Chief Justice or to the concerned judicial officer
Yeah.
that at least
Take our
about
case
him
up
out
first.
of that.
They must, because otherwise our nomination
So that
date.
At least there is no suspense about him or her contesting the election.
Yes.
That can be done.
Problem is not a political party. Any individual has a right to not file nomination. If the list is not published prior to that, in his right to be.
That Mr. Bhattacharya, we will see later. Individual has a recognized political party, we will create.
That is first priority.
The second priority we will consider.
That is very important. Otherwise,
We will consider that.
Yeah, for the
On a
nomination.
case basis, if someone comes before us saying that I want to contest,
or because instead of coming before Lordship can allow the Honorable High Court to consider this aspect. Every time the
we
individual.
have considered your submission, we will first address ourselves with the recognized political party.
That is first part of it.
First,
But there
as
are,
of now, that.
yes.
Thereafter, the unrecognized or any other individual, we will consider individual.
Only that the accepting the,
You see,
only the
just
regi-
today that Mr. Diwan has now given this note.
Yes.
Better you exchange the note, we will let Mr.
Yes.
Naidu also know that, because some of the issues might be that they also, the election commission should not, maybe that they will not oppose, or rather they will facilitate.
Or come up with some.
Had they served a little in advance minutes, I too could have got my instructions. They've just given it to us.
The list was
We
rejection.
can
Comes also
ensure that
in terms of freezing of.
resolution of the-
electorals, my lord.
my lord,
Every day we've been in touch with the honorable High
my
Court,
lord, importantly,
and
my
every
lord,
day we've been communicating.
importantly, my lord, importantly, all those supplementary lists appeared to be published yesterday at 12 o'clock night. But still now, the entire supplementary list is not
There is
available.
some logistics issue, sir.
Pardon?
There is some logistics issue. Mr.
But
Bandhu.
may I just,
By Wednesday, to our understanding, the entire clear supplementary list will be published.
may I make one request to your lordships? Then let me published, all right. May I make one request to your lordships? Whichever they have published,
Yes, sir.
Can we?
We wanted to publish daily, so tell me.
From tomorrow onwards?
Sir, we are ready. We have already sent our proposal to DECO. It is examined.
Milord,
May I
one
submit
request,
one-
Milord, one request, whichever they will publish, it's all right, one part. We can't see, we may not see. A soft copy can be given to the all political parties also at the same time.
May I submit one thing?
My lords,
That is also, Milord,
I'm- I'm
then
just-
we don't have,
Which is important for preferring appeal.
that,
my lords,
Milord,
I'm
that
just
is
on
there,
one point,
that,
my
that
lords.
also can be considered, Milord. There is,
Cancel part of our burden, we have passed on to the Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court. For these administrative things, you please approach him. If you don't find there is a difficulty, any of the, at that level, if either side facing any difficulty, then you point out to us. We will try to, because
My
we are dealing with.
Milord,
My lords,
we shall kindly
My
be,
lords, we have already
The
given
burden,
proposal
my
to the
lords, to
Honorable
end
Chief Justice.
day
We have
of
already
burden,
given
my
a
lords.
proposal to the Honorable Chief Justice to explore the possibility. We are willing to publish the supplement list even daily. As and when the list is ready, we are publishing daily. We will. And we have given
My
the
lords,
proposal to the
also
Honorable.
an extension
Chief
of the
Justice.
date, my lords, of
Yes.
freezing of rolls.
Another issue, please consider, because there is a differential between the last date of nomination.
Yes,
That
yes,
is the 152 assembly constituencies are closing on
Two-faced.
6th,
yes.
and the next is 142 on 9. If it is possible for you to hive out the constituencies which are closing first, to be addressed first
Yes.
in the verification, and thereafter, or in a-
There's
in a
some more
phased
breathing
manner,
time as per the
phased
next
manner,
phase, even in couple
so
of.
that there is a complete verification before the 6th.
Perfect.
That's
Of
not
152, and then
If it's
9, the remainder one.
We'll do that.
That
That's a
will
good
require
suggestion.
your assistance, I mean, the ECI's assistance, because neither the judicial officers nor the Chief Justice will be in a position to marshal the documents and other
Yes.
papers, as well as the logistics of the judges moving from one district to another to address the specified assembly constituencies who are going to poll earlier.
Certainly.
Please work out that.
We'll do that.
And also the.
For the
We'll do
report,
that.
my lord, Justice Bagchi state, my
Milord,
lord.
your lord,
May I just
Milord-
request one thing, my lord.
Prefer appeal.
Is not possible. It will be a rejection. It will be based on the documents that you have relied upon. Whether the documents have been correctly assessed or have not been assessed will be considered.
My lord,
Milord, only one
once,
thing,
my
Milord,
lords,
Milord, on that, Milord, if your lord,
just
if
in
I
terms
remember,
of point
if I
where-
remember correctly, Milord, if I remember correctly, during the last day of hearing, that when we make this request, Milord, if I remember correctly, one thing has come up from a lordship, the reason would be supplied to the affected person, not to it. Unless the reason is given to the affected, how,
Want the reasons to be supplied, it can't be supplied as of now. Then you wait for your time, it won't be
My lords,
possible.
could your lordships,
Appellate authority
could your,
for the-
could your lordships extend the date, my lords, of freezing of the rolls?
The case of Vikas on
3 days back, when I was traveling, there is an article on SIR. Except West Bengal, every state, and it's not, why we are accepting, because the article refers to which are the states governed by A political party, B political party, C political party. Other than West Bengal, everywhere it has happened smoothly.
because of this, because of,
Single state.
no, Milord,
And
the
equally
logical
big
discrepancy
states-
have not been applied to any
Yes,
state.
my lords.
Milord, your sense, Milord, kindly do not mind. logical discrepancy has not been applied to any states excepting West Bengal. Number one. Number two, when your lordship is saying, your lordships will not find from anywhere, notification was issued at 3 o'clock and the midnight chief secretary has been shifted.
Yes, there are much complicated issues. So
All right,
They
but
don't
so far this
One
matter is
request,
concerned,
please,
we
my
have.
lords. May I just make one request?
Everything has happened so smoothly and there were issues more complicated, maybe if not equally complicated issues. But by and large, there is hardly any litigation come and there is.
My lords,
My lords, the
we have supplied a list
adjudication, my
to your
lords.
lordships.
Last,
But today we have not come up
We have
with any
supplied a
action.
list comparative
1
table
week
where
before
there
the
are
date
more
of polling.
deletions from Tamil Nadu.
And I think there are states where the after the deletion rate is much more than.
In Gujarat, it's double.
In some
In
of the
UP,
states,
it's
they are
one of the
something-
highest.
in Gujarat,
Tamil
I
Nadu.
think it's, more 20%, 19% something in Gujarat.
Indeed, my lords.
No,
Gone down.
that is like
Deletion.
comparing 2002, of course, because the populations have been increased. 20% is nothing.
May I?
2000,
legal
if we
difficulty.
compare with the
I cannot
2002,
prefer appeal.
My lords, may I make one submission, my lords? Would your lordships consider extending the date of freezing of the electoral rolls, my lords? Because,
We will consider it.
yes,
Right now, the things are going
All right, very well.
very
So
well.
would you-
Yesterday night, also the feedback.
Very
was
well.
No, no, if there's progress, then why should?
More than 2 lakhs of objections, they are deciding, the officers are working day night.
Almost daily.
Yes.
no,
No
that
Saturday,
is
no
correct. That is
absolutely, my
huge
lords.
task.
This is only
Huge
with
task.
their burden in mind, my lords.
Huge task.
They have been working day and night.
They
Just to
they have
assist.
not taken a single leave.
Yes,
No, nobody.
no, I bow down to
Well,
that.
not only
Only one
huge task,
legal requirement.
well,
I have
very
to file
honestly
appeal in
saying,
release
not only
itself.
huge task,
I'll
but
come
the,
to
in the
section
courts also, well, the judicial,
227.
the litigants are also suffering.
Our only worry is right
Assistant
now,
electoral officer, not a judicial.
That's true. Therefore, without.
Yes, yes.
Therefore, this requirement will wait.
really afraid of that.
These
Other
requirements
states
will wait.
also
So
start
shall
demanding
record
judicial officers.
Yes,
This requirement will
we know,
wait.
Millard. No, we know, Millard.
You file your appeal, you know how to file an appeal, file the appeal.
Thereafter we'll see.
File the appeal and reiterate your points why you should be included.
Yes, that's all.
Would your lordship
But this,
post this?
Millard, kindly make it since, Millard, everything, Millard, kindly one thing, my lord, excuse me, my lord, Justice Bagchi. Your lordships have made his oral observation that it is not possible to give the reason. Millard, that would not be a reject my ground for not providing the reason in the appeal.
Mr. Bondwadi, do you understand the extent of pressure that we have put on these judicial officers in verifying 60 lakh cases in a span of 45 days? It is
It's
human.
an inhuman task. We follow.
Millard, we know.
Impossible for an officer to allow or reject and then again put in 2 lines why he is allowing or
So
rejecting.
therefore,
Well, that is the reason, inhuman task, that is the reason, one of the ground of our petition, it is impossible to conclude the entire SIR proceeding within a 3 months or 4 months. Which takes 2 years, that is the
My
ground.
lords have seen many a state we have completed within the time frame, but for their frustration.
Itself. Bengal has thrown up an unique problem. Other states also have their own issues. We will not really dwell on the uniqueness of the issue. But what we will be addressing is, in the given ground reality of the state concerned, that the fundamental and the constitutional rights to participate in the election
yes,
is protected.
that's,
That is the bottom line of this
That is-
entire.
Yes, yes.
that should be ensured by the order of the
We
court.
we made in our first order that it's not a question of apportioning responsibility, blame, etc., but ensuring a more common platform through the intervention of a unique experiment by judicial
We'll
officers.
satisfy.
Yes, well, that,
That the entire exercise
Let
can
be a part
come
of the
to a
order of the
logical
court.
conclusion. And that is the reason why we're requesting Mr. Naidu that let him help the Chief Justice and the entire team to, in fact, phase the remainder of the work so that more precedence and importance is given to the constituencies which are closing on 6th and thereafter the remainder. That will help them to rationalize workforce,
Indeed, my lords.
and also conclude the entire process. We hope and trust that we will have all 60 lakh under adjudication
Yes.
completed by that.
That's
time.
My lord.
That is why we are
That's
not
the
expressing
bottom
any
desire of
opinion.
all parties. Deep level, that's right.
No, no. This is actually, this is.
Then you have to take a date before.
First, first.
First April, we have to take either first or second.
He'll let him put the date. It's beyond that period. Otherwise, he won't know his calendar.
Should we?
So that was the last date of nominations is April 6th.
Yes, ma'am.
Take instructions and advise them. Rather, you need to advise them. This all former retired judges who now were working at tribunal, instead of going to the districts where the responsibility is assigned, because then retired people traveling there, it will all create problems. So if in like we were just discussing,
Yes, my lords.
if the Judicial Academy in Calcutta, there are rooms, class where they can all, because online, all documents are there, online.
Everything is online, millets. Millet, there are two ways to look at it, millets. Either it could be accommodated to one place, as my lords have suggested, such as Judicial Academy, or else millets will provide all wherewithal with systems and supporting staff. They can as well work from where they are, instead of they're traveling and coming all together at one place.
You work out with the Honorable Chief Justice of the Calcutta.
So be it.
If you
Either
if you
way,
feel
It's seamless.
wherewithal and the support can be given at their.
Straight away, we'll take it up. Yes.
Paradigm, you can organize it.
Instead of
If
dislocating
that
and coming
kind of
over to some place.
place would be helpful for you and it would help you to do it effectively, then the West Bengal Judicial Academy has a very big
So be it.
arrangement and the infrastructure is
So be it.
reasonably good. You can utilize.
Ultimately, the tribunal's comfort, whichever way they want, we can provide that. one.
Basically, their work will be, both sides will come.
Yes, minutes.
Those objectors, their objection has been rejected, they will say the documents are not genuine, therefore you reject it.
Yes, minutes.
Those whose documents have been rejected, they will come and they will claim genuine. So basically.
Already
scope of
electronic forms.
Confined to the verification of genuineness and the competence of the certificate.
Whether they require a relook.
Upon a certificate which has been issued by an incompetent authority.
Yes, minutes.
Certificate may be genuine, but it is still useless because it is issued by incompetent. So I think these two areas will be broadly the area of your work.
Yes, minutes. We'll do that one. Minutes now,
My lord,
the task is,
person. Petitioner in person. I just seek only 20 seconds to give a submission on a short jurisdictional issue. My lords, the present electoral roll.
Please go to, you also go there before Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court.
My
You
lord,
also-
only one just small request, I just pay. The present electoral roll revision exercise is being concluded on the basis of an enumeration form, which it does not appear to be prescribed under the registration of electors rules 1960. If that is so, it raises a jurisdictional issue.
I will examine your claim in the, we have to sit in a three-judge bench matter also right now.
may I add in the end one thing, minutes?
Let-
Minutes, we acknowledge with
A request that.
millets. We gratefully acknowledge that the task is humongous. It's been day and night, millets. And we're not showing any accusing finger towards anybody. But at the same time, there are certain practical difficulties and certain shortcomings. We have just kept them in the sealed cover. If they merit your lordship's attention, kindly look into it, or else they can be ignored.
Milords, when would your lordship be placing the case?
Noted before the notice of the Honorable Chief Justice.
Chief Justice.
No.
Registrar.
The Registrar General has been informed.
Please inform the Chief Justice.
We will.
Next date.
My lord, I have, there is Court's jurisdictional note.
But we will do it, we will look into it.
So be it.
And,
It's self-explanatory.
Administrative side advice.
Yes,
required.
that's all. That's all we wanted.
Whether to.
That's all we wanted to. Great.
Milords, when would your
Keep
lordship list the case? When would your lordship list the case next?
We can hear anytime. Let us see the work is going on.
the progress.
So we
Okay.
will tentatively take up either on first
First, my lord, kindly keep it on first.
or on sixth.
No, before six,
Last date
62.
for
As
nomination.
my lord's
Before
convenience
sixth, it
chooses.
will,
As my lord's convenience chooses, whichever is the date.
Whatever date the court.
first or second, whatever. Private.
On first,
I'm good.
So great.
Great.
then first it will be at 10:30 first item.
Yes,
Yeah,
fine.
that-
Very important. Very.
Grateful.
Might have to wind up court slightly early on that day.
No problem. First we'll be here. at
And
10,
instead
sir.
of other matters, we'll see. And this.
Yes, great.
Great.
Yeah, but.
Deeply obliged.
Great.
Develop this.
My lords, this is that matter where we have come for the applicants for citizenship.
Very good afternoon. Those who are joining us in this broadcast, they know by now that this is about the SIR matter. We have all been hooked onto this SIR matter for the past 3 months. And today, it was one of those days when the matter had gone back to the Supreme Court once again. The matter as it was before the Chief Justice's bench, along with Justice Joymal Lobakchi, today also saw some sort of exchanges which many would be compelled to wonder as how convincing they are. For example, it was raised before the bench today that the supplementary list has been uploaded, has been published by the Election Commission of India. Please understand, the final list was published on 28th of February. Since 28th of February, there had been a lot of talks going rounds that there would be supplementary list coming up. Now, in the final list, there was about 63 lakh people deleted from the voter list. That apart, there were another 60 lakh people who were held up and put under adjudication. 80% of that 60 lakh are those people who are already mapped. Please realize this. 80% of those people are already mapped as per Election Commission's own directive, that those who have their family tree reflecting in the 2002 voter list, if your name is there in the 2002 voter list, if your father, if your mother, if your grandfather, if your grandmother, if your uncle, somebody's name which confirms your family tree, and if that person had been there in the 2002 voter roll, that in a way by default establishes your citizenship, if they are in a way scrutinizing that. So as your validity as a voter is concerned, that is very much confirmed if you are there in the 2002 voter list. So when the draft list had come out, please remember, about 2 months back, when the first draft list had come out, that draft list had in a way deleted roughly about 57 lakh voters. Roughly about 57 lakh voters were deleted from the draft list. Roughly about 57 lakh voters were deleted from the draft list, right? And thereafter, suddenly we heard this new term, logical discrepancy. What is that? People who have their siblings spread across the country suddenly were reminded whether you have a common father or not. And if you happen to be a voter in Bengal, even after you being mapped, by accident, if the AI Intel had picked up your name, realizing that you share your father with 6 other siblings, you were questioned as why. That was a logical discrepancy. And this is one of the many examples of logical discrepancies that people have endured. The reason why they had to go back to the queue with documents in their hands to prove their legitimacy as a valid voter. People have found that inconvincing, and the reason why eventually the matter went to Supreme Court. Long story cut short, the Supreme Court had been hearing this matter for the past several months, at least 2 months. And the Supreme Court in the past 2 hearings at least have tried and repeatedly highlight that look, there had been SIR happening in other parts of the country as well. Why is it only Bengal that is bouncing off so many challenges? And this question, Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant had kind of, volleyed multiple times that he has read an article. In fact, today also he said the same thing, that he read an article while he was on the go, that SIR exercise was happening in 12 other places, but there had been no other complications apart from West Bengal. And as that conversation lingered a little longer, I also heard Justice Joymallo Bagchi in a way suggest that Bengal has in a way shown a unique problem. Bengal has thrown, quote unquote, Bengal has thrown a unique problem, and the problem has to be addressed, while other places can have their unique problems. While other places can have their unique problems, Bengal has thrown another unique problem or a unique problem, with the challenges that they have encountered in the SIR exercise. So yes, today when the matter went back to the Supreme Court, there are few things which are very, very important to highlight. And why did I say that many would find it little less convincing? If I consciously do not use the word disappointing, many would find this very, very, very less convincing, because after 28th of February, as the matters went for adjudication before judicial officers, once again directed by the Supreme Court, it was expected that those who have been deleted, they will be given a fair trial for redressal, and after redressal, if they can convince the judicial officers, they would be coming back to the final voter list. But at this juncture, we do not really know, out of those 60 lakh people who have been put under adjudication, as how many of them have made it back to the final voter list. You would be asking me why? Why do I not know? We do not really know, because even after the supplementary list has been published by the Election Commission of India at 12 midnight, I'm not joking at all. Trust you me, at 12 midnight, technically 11:58 yesterday. Today is Tuesday. On Monday, 11:58 p.m. 11:58 p.m. Every government office you call up, they would say they have a working hour. The business hour is from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. In times of exigency, they extend themselves. But in any professional space, 11:58 is never considered to be a working business hour unless you're working at a call center. This first supplementary list, which was supposed to be published after the judicial officers have gone through 60 lakh cases and the matter is still ongoing, yesterday it was told to us that 29 lakh cases were adjudicated. 29 lakh cases were adjudicated. Out of 60 lakhs, 29 lakhs of cases have been adjudicated. Very good. Now, please tell us, out of 29 lakhs, how many have made it back to the final voter list? And how many have been deleted? Is this a valid question or not? The matter, the list was published yesterday at 11:58 p.m. Literally at stroke of midnight, freedom at midnight. At freedom at midnight, the SIR exercise was essentially ensuring a declaration for people to realize whether they have the freedom to vote or not. And Election Commission of India, till now, from 12 midnight till now, which is at 4 o'clock, which is 16 hours later, we still do not know what's the status of that list. Because the Election Commission of India's website, and if I can borrow the word thrown from Justice Joymallo Bagchi's vocabulary, has literally thrown us off guard. The Election Commission of India's website has thrown us off from the entire discourse, because every time you try and log into the Election Commission of India's website, you just cannot access this supplementary list. You just cannot access any supplementary list. And I will definitely give you a live demo now. Probably I will try and log in on another website, on another machine, and also take help of my colleague Titash. We will try and log in on the Election Commission's website and try and show you live as a demo as what are the challenges we are facing and as whether the supplementary list can really be accessed or not. And when I say today's hearing was little less convincing, because this matter was highlighted before the bench of Supreme Court today. And Justice Joymal Bakshi said that they have been regularly receiving reports from the Calcutta High Court. Calcutta High Court Chief Justice had been, in a way, managing the entire, deployment and also trying to keep a tab on everyday development of judicial officers who are enlisted for the adjudication of cases. So Calcutta High Court had been passing on information very diligently to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court bench said that they are aware of it. Fair enough. Fair enough. And Justice Joy Bakshi said that by tomorrow, which is Wednesday, by tomorrow, the list will be published and the list will be accessible. That there are technical glitches. My only humble question before the Election Commission of India is, even after the Supreme Court's observation, the Supreme Court said that you should be publishing the supplementary list on a regular basis. And the final list had come out on 28th of February. Today we are standing at 24th of March, which is almost like a month, which is definitely more than 20 days or 22 days. So you have literally passed on 3 weeks' time. And in 3 weeks' time, forget regular publication of supplementary list. You have published only one supplementary list so far, and that too is inaccessible. Please tell me, is this a valid question or not? Instead of accumulating numbers after numbers after numbers for the list to get compounded to 29 lakhs, could he have released 1 lakh every week, 1 lakh every 2 days, 1 lakh every 3 days? We have spent 22 days and more, and the supplementary list has come out. And even after that, we have no access to the supplementary list. And the challenges are that even when you log into the Election Commission's website, you cannot access it. Because probably there is heavy traffic. Probably for whatever reason, you cannot access the supplementary list. So now, instead of compounding the entire list to 29 lakhs where it's standing now, you could have jolly well released the first list of 1 lakh people. Election Commission of India, which had been working in close tandem with the Calcutta High Court, I'm sure they were aware that these number of cases have been adjudicated. So instead of waiting for the serial number to reach to 29 lakhs or 27 lakhs, they could have easily released the first supplementary list comprising of 1 cases. Is that a legitimate ask or not? Today, the Election Commission of India has once again told the Supreme Court, and before the Chief Justice of India's bench, Senior Advocate D.S. Naidu, representing Election Commission of India, is saying, we are regularly publishing supplementary list. Please show us where. Please show us where. Please show us where you are publishing your supplementary list regularly. The Supreme Court was today communicated by Election Commission of India that they are regularly publishing supplementary list, and they would be regularly publishing supplementary list. Question is, where is the supplementary list? When have they really published the supplementary list on a regular basis? Is this a valid question? Please tell me. Because if you come on the Election Commission of India's website, there is only one supplementary list which has been reportedly published at the stroke of midnight, and you cannot access it. You cannot access it even after 16 hours of the list being published at the stroke of midnight. So there lies the slight unconvincing part of today's hearing, because this was told to the bench by the Election Commission of India. I was literally keeping my fingers crossed that somebody would say bench, let's try logging into Election Commission of India's website and let's access it. Because the internet that I use, you use, I'm sure the same kind of internet, same kind of data is also available inside the Supreme Court's premises, probably inside courtroom number 1, where the Chief Justice of India and his bench is sitting. So if we cannot access Election Commission of India's website, trying to access the supplementary list, let's figure out whether the Supreme Court can access it or not. And if there are challenges, has the Election Commission of India come up with any formal communication, any press release stating, boss, we have these challenges. These challenges we have. So give us some more time. From 28th of February, today is 24th of March, and only one supplementary list has come out, and that too you cannot access. Forget your status, forget my status. Try and put yourself in the shoes of those who have been mapped by the Election Commission of India as per the 2002 records, and yet were made to stand in a queue with documents to prove their legitimacy as an Indian voter. Put yourself in that shoe and ask yourself as what it takes to face that question over and over again, as whether you are Indian and Indian enough to cast your vote. Put yourself in that shoe. And I'm not talking about one religion. I'm talking about Hindus. I'm talking about Muslims, those who have been standing in the queue with documents trying to prove that they have been a legitimate voter. People who have come from Bangladesh, Hindus who have migrated from Bangladesh with no document whatsoever, but procured documents in India over the course of time. They do not have anything apart from Aadhaar card and voter card. The voter card itself is under scrutiny. Aadhaar card is not accepted as a citizenship proof. They have not been able to apply for CAA, most of them. What else can they prove, or how else can they prove that they have been the Hindu marginalized community who have migrated from Bangladesh? You can call them Mutwas or whatever. And they have taken refuge in India. How can they prove it? And they're the same people, the Hindus, who have been standing in the queue under logical discrepancy. There are Muslims too. Yes, Muslims are more in number. In districts like Murshidabad, Malda, maximum people have been made to stand in a queue under logical discrepancy are Muslims. But if you keep religion aside, if you keep religion aside for a change, do you realize the anxiety these families have gone through? These families who are still under the list of adjudication, unsure whether they will be able to cast their vote or not. And imagine if they are being denied to cast a vote, tomorrow they would be denied to live in this country probably as an Indian. Tomorrow, what governments deny them social security schemes? Because if Election Commission of India says that only Indian would be casting their vote, it is almost like filtration of citizenship, of citizen. So if only Indians are allowed to cast a vote, and if you are denied an opportunity to cast your vote, it essentially means you are not Indian. See, if tomorrow governments say that you are not good, you are not fit enough for the social security schemes, even for Ayushman Bharat, what do? What if banks thereafter start questioning you that the Election Commission of India has not found you Indian enough to allow you to cast your vote? How can we consider your account as one held by an Indian? Do you realize these challenges that people are apprehensive about? It is not about you and me. Those who have not stood in a queue, you will not understand the pain of standing in a queue. And that is the reason many people are wondering as whether today's hearing has been somewhat little less convincing. Because today, this was very, very important to get a clarity as what happens to the supplementary list. And I will give you a live demo before moving ahead. You know, if you log into Election Commission of India's website, I'll ask my colleague Titash to come down with the laptop. Look, just come here. If you look into the screen, okay? So Titash, this is Election Commission of India's website, right?
So this is the, once you go into the Election Commission's website, there is a particular option which is called the Voter Service Portal. And once you go to the Voter Service Portal and you select that you want the updated SIR list, you would get an option. Once you select your state, which is West Bengal, and the year of revision, which is 2026, roll type will be adjudication supplementary list number 1. Then I have to select a district. Let's just select Alipurduar, for example, which is in the northern part of Bengal. The constituency, let's take the first one, which is Kumargram, and the language is by itself in default Bengali, and then we enter the captcha code, which is CS6AC8Y, and let's just select 2 PDFs for now and download selected PDFs. Okay, for the first round, they say that the captcha is wrong. So we will try once again. The next captcha is 5QJYTF. Download selected PDFs. Okay, both PDFs downloaded. Now, once we open any of the downloaded PDFs, allow. Now let's just open. See.
So, this is what people have been seeing. No adjudication pertaining to this part till 5 p.m. on 23rd of March 2026. Today, we are standing at 24th of March. Yesterday was 23rd of March 2026. And I would quickly like to take you to another, another constituency.
Sure.
Let's go to...
So let's just go back to the home page.
Let's go to home
again.
page. We are on West Bengal,
Yeah.
year 2026. Adjudication, okay. We need to understand. See, there are two options, or there are multiple options.
Yeah, there are multiple
Area of
options.
interest, adjudication supplementary list number 1, adjudication deleted list number 1. All right. Adjudication supplementary list number 1, adjudication deleted list number 1. So which essentially means people who have been deleted, they would probably find their names under this category, adjudication deleted list number 1. Now let's select adjudication deleted. She has shown you, Titash has shown you adjudication supplementary list number 1. Let's select adjudication deleted. Let's select district as Kolkata. Okay. Kolkata South. Okay. Let's select assembly constituency Bhawanipur. Why Bhawanipur? It's a high profile seat. Seat of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, from where about 20,000, Titash? 20,000 or
22,000.
22,000 people have been deleted.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have been removed.
They have been removed, they have been put under adjudication.
Yes.
So about 22,000 people have been put under adjudication in Bhawanipur Lok Sabha, Assembly constituency, all right? So in Bhawanipur, which is 159 Bhawanipur Assembly constituency, interestingly, the language option automatically changes to English, okay? In northern part of Bengal, where many people would have preferred English than Bengali, because you have got tribal people over there, you have people who speak in Olchiki language, you have Gorkhas who prefer English over Bengali because Gorkha is their native language, Nepali is their native language. So in part of northern part of Bengal, where people would have preferred English over Bengali to understand the election commission data, there the default category is Bengali.
It is quite strange that when election commission is saying that this whole SIR process is a voter friendly process, and that they would ensure that the voters are not in any way have to face any troubles. When we come to the election commission website, you would expect that there are multiple languages, not just English or Bangla, because let's be fair, there are people who speak different dialects, and it can be a hindrance if you just restrict them to one particular language. You would also expect that once you get an option and a drop box which
You
says
select
language,
Okay.
you would get an option.
Okay, so let's go get back to Bhawanipur once again, Titash. So yes, English is a default. English is a default thing. So we stick to English, and thereafter let's go to captcha. All right, let's go to captcha. The captcha is 3. Can you just type it down?
3,
2 N
and
6
P
R. Okay, let's select all the parts. Now these are all parts. Okay, let's follow. These are all parts. Can you come? Just show the number of parts showing in page 1.
Yeah. So these are
So see, these are number of parts which are basically nothing but polling booths. Over here, you go and cast your vote. So there are about 10 options. So now each page would have 10 options. And there are multiple pages. You can scroll from one to another. Now let's select all the pages or all the parts.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's just select all.
All, and this is only for our convenience. We're just selecting all, and let's download.
Download selected PDFs.
Yeah.
The first round, the captcha is wrong.
Every
Even-
time you do this at the first round, your captcha will not work. You know, we have been talking about the challenges on Election Commission of India's website, and that's exactly what you're trying to show. Please understand the kind of digital literacy you're expecting from people. Please understand the kind of digital literacy Election Commission of India is expecting from people who are there in rural Bengal, from people who live in the slum clusters. The kind of digital literacy they're expecting from people who are living in far-flung remote villages, because it's not about people from the urban cluster who have been put under adjudication. Imagine people living in the border areas of Murshidabad, Malda, even they have been put under the list of adjudication. And you really think they would have all the luxury of having a laptop, data, then go inside the website and then keep trying your luck with captcha after captcha after captcha?
I mean, it's not just about the people who are from the remote areas. From personal experience, after having visited so many hearing camps, there are many old people who come down for hearing, many that stay away from their families. So once, like, I asked a lady that you've been called for adjudication. Do you know why you have been called for adjudication? So she said that, I have no idea. The BLO just came to me. He said it is under adjudication. Although I had a doctor's appointment today, I just had to come. And she was a frail old lady. So it is not just about the marginalized communities. It is also, in a way, kind of pushing the older people who are not so familiar with the technological part of having to check the election list.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, just in the kind of case studies you have come across, we cannot really go back to them now because it would be consuming a lot of time. But coming back to Bhawanipur, we have downloaded all the data. Now let's select.
Let's open one.
No adjudication pertaining to this part till 5 p.m. 23rd of March 2026. So this is not unique to northern part of Bengal. Every constituency, and if you don't trust me, just go to Election Commission of India's website. Me and Titash have been awake almost half of the night trying to get inside the website and access at least one constituency where you would find some data, either the supplementary list or the deleted list. And today, the Election Commission of India's advocate, Senior Advocate D.S. Naidu, my problem is there. My problem is there that Senior Advocate D.S. Naidu told the court that we would be publishing supplementary list on a regular basis. I mean, you have just published one which you have not been able to access in over 16 hours. Who would be held accountable for that? Has the Election Commission of India held any press conference? Where is Mr. Ganesh Kumar? I mean, is that a fair question or not? Where is Mr. Ganesh Kumar? He is the Chief Election Commissioner. Where is he? Why can't he just come out in open and say that there are challenges we are facing on the website? Probably our host has somehow suffered an expired certificate. Our certificate is expired. We are trying to renew our contract. Our cloud is full. We cannot overload documents. Say whatever you want, but do say something. Today, before the Supreme Court, the Election Commission of India said that they are publishing data regularly. Where? Where is all what we are asking? And there is another very, very serious concern, which was highlighted by Mamata Banerjee's advocate, Senior Advocate Shyam Diwan. In fact, he has put forth couple of suggestions being made, and they include that either you extend the freezing time, because see, on 6th of April is the last day of nomination filing. That is for phase 1, which is on 23rd
of April.
On 23rd of April, right? On 23rd of April, you have on 23rd of April, you have the first phase, and on 29th of April, you have a second phase. So on 23rd of April, the constituencies which are going to polling, which is 152, their nomination filing is on 6th of April.
Yes.
So if on 6th of April, you're filing your nomination, which means the voter list for all those constituencies which are going in first phase of polling, that voter list for all those constituencies have to be frozen 72 hours before.
Absolutely.
That also includes candidates.
Yeah.
In fact, today it was told before the court that there are about, I did write it down, there are about 14 candidates in phase 1. There are 14 candidates only from Trinamool Congress. 14 candidates only from Trinamool Congress who are there on the adjudication list.
I mean, since you brought it up, and it is, I mean, we are laughing and it is quite funny. But yesterday, when the list was supposed to be published, and even after the press conference by the state election commissioner, many of the candidates were out in polling, and one such candidate whose name is still under adjudication, that is Trinamool Congress's Shoshi Paja. She is a candidate from Shampookur, and she was kind of campaigning for the upcoming elections.
She was also a minister.
She was also a minister.
She is also a minister
Women
in
and Child Department.
Women and Child Industry, and she had been a minister in the past 2 terms as well.
Okay.
So she had been a minister for very long.
So she had been campaigning, and a very famous national channel for that matter went and asked her that, ma'am, since your name is under adjudication, I'm so sorry, I'm laughing. Since your name is under adjudication, have you seen your list? Have you seen your name, or are you still hanging in limbo? Is your candidature hanging in limbo? So she said, I have no idea if I'm on the list. That is the condition. If a candidate, if a political leader that a person is looking up to and casting their votes find himself or herself in such a state of limbo and such a state of apprehension, you can only imagine the kind of anxiety that the common people or the people from the marginalized communities are going through, because there is an uncertainty which is hanging large. There are so many things that need to be considered. 72 hours prior to the vote, to casting your vote, the voters list need to be frozen.
And that's where the submission today happened, that, you know, if you are freezing the voter list, then what happens to all those people who are still under adjudication? So the appeal, which I vaguely heard, there was too much of noise, but I still vaguely remember, it was submitted that let the default, under default mode, those who are under the list of adjudication, because most of them are mapped, they should be allowed to cast their vote. So that was an appeal made. Even though it's not part of the order, there is no order coming out today, but it was in a way told before the bench that by default, those who are mapped, at least they be allowed to cast their votes. Because it is humanly impossible to adjudicate all these cases. In the past 45 days, about 705 judicial officers, they have been able to adjudicate 29 lakh cases. In Supreme Court, it was told about 26 point something. But yesterday, Election Commission of India told us 29 lakh cases. So we have no idea who is speaking the truth. Today, it was told before the Supreme Court 26 point something. And yesterday, Election Commission said 29 lakh cases have been disposed of. And we do not know how many of 29 lakh have really made it back to the final list.
I mean, when you talk about the Election Commission and the Chief Election Commissioner coming into fray and talking about how they are coming in support of the common voters, it is important to mention that when the Chief Election Commissioner had come down to the state of West Bengal to check the poll preparedness, and when he had started his presentation and then he started the press conference, he gave us a certain number. That is, this was the Bengal's electorate before SIR, this is Bengal's electorate after SIR. And then, like a very sad footnote, he added that so many people are under adjudication and their names would be added to the final voter list as and when it is disposed of by the judicial officers. So if you get such a feeling, if the common people get such a feeling coming from the very seat of power when it comes to elections, that, you know, their names are simply an afterthought for the poll body, it simply gives a very strong message that, are we even valid voters? If we are valid voters, we have, you talk about progeny mapping, they have been mapped to their family members who were a part of the 2002 SIR voters list. You talk about the draft list, they have all been identified as voters, like viable voters by the Election Commission, and therefore their names were published in the draft list itself. So now you are telling me that there is like a separate category which is called logical discrepancy, and these logical discrepancies, if you hear some of them, you would, I mean, I'm sure you would burst out laughing. Some have spelling errors. Some have their title changes. Some say that you have more than 7 or 8 brothers and sisters. Prove your father is the same. So these are some cases that need time, and there has to be fine tuning in
I
this.
mean, yeah. So as it was discussed before the court today, that 14 candidates who are going for elections in phase one, their names are there in the adjudication list. They still don't know whether their names have been cleared or not, and it is certainly a lot of uncertainty for voters and also for the leaders.
Yeah.
So it was told before the court that at least before 6th of April, at least 72 hours before 6th of April, the phases, the constituencies which are going to polling on phase one, at least those constituencies should be identified and their cases should be adjudicated on a priority basis, so that if somebody wants to contest election, he or she can. Because if your name is on adjudication list, I'm not really sure whether you can actually cast be on the contest anymore.
I mean, I don't know if we're bracing for a situation like the one that we saw during Bombay's municipal elections. People had taken their voter card, voter slip, and to their polling booth to cast their vote. And upon reaching, they realized that they're not a part of that particular booth. The poor voters, they had to go round and round for hours just to figure out where to cast their votes. So can you imagine the situation? People actually going out with their credentials, and then they're getting to know that, I can't cast my vote.
So very importantly, today before the bench, there were certain recommendations made by the state government. I won't say state government, by Mamata Banerjee, who in an individual capacity had filed the case. So senior advocate Shyam Diwan, he made certain recommendations that also included that you either extend the deadline or freeze the voter list before 6th of April, and on default mode, those who were there in the mapped list, they should be allowed to cast their vote. Let's quickly listen into what senior advocate Shyam Diwan told the bench today. Let's very quickly play it.
Place paragraph 8 onwards of your lordship's last order, and then I just have a few suggestions and requests which I'll just make over a short note.
Yes.
So para 8, it's on page 6, adverting to the issues flagged by the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta and which are required to be addressed, we deem it appropriate to issue the following directions. The Election Commission of India will ensure that no mandatory tab, etc., which might disrupt the process is introduced unless approved by the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta. The technical issues in the portal causing disruptions prior to 7th March 2026 will be effectively addressed, ensuring that no such disruption takes place. 3. New login IDs will be created as and when required for the judicial officers promptly and without wasting any time. During the course of the hearing, learned senior counsel on behalf of the petitioners has pointed out two important issues. One, the mechanism of appeal by those who claim inclusion in a voters list has been rejected by the judicial officers. And two, the publication of a supplementary list, particularly when more than 10,16,000 plus objections have already been disposed of. As regards the first issue, namely the provision of an appeal, our order of 24th February 2026 in no uncertain terms points out that when the order passed by the judicial officers will not be subjected to appeal before any executive or administrative officer. That being so, the Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court at Calcutta may request some former Chief Justices and many former judges of the High Court, preferably the High Court of Calcutta or of the neighboring states, who shall be notified as the appellate tribunals, the Election Commission of India will issue a notification in consultation with the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court, notifying the former Chief Justice judges or former judges alone, if no
Yes.
Yes. So this is progressing, but it hasn't really. My instructions are it hasn't started functioning or operating. And then your lordship, paragraph 14.
Notified day before, I think.
Paragraph 14, your lordship will see, insofar as the issue of publication of supplementary lists is concerned, both sides shall be at liberty to approach the Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court in Calcutta for publication of a supplementary list of the persons whose objection is already stands disposed of.
Yesterday that has also been.
Yes. Now, my lords, may I just hand over a single page and just so that your lordships may just consider whether further corrections.
We can just point out.
Yes.
On the administrative side exercise.
Yes.
Chief Justice keeps on sending communication to us.
To your lordships.
Sometimes telling that this what has been done.
Yes. So we would like, my lords, the tribunals, of course, to naturally everybody wants the process to complete as swiftly as possible. So if your lordship just takes up this note, it just gives you the picture, the overall picture, and a few suggestions. So, my lords, the total number of cases under adjudication as on 23rd March 2026 was 60 lakhs. On 23rd March 2026, the first supplementary list of adjudicated cases was published with approximately 27 lakh cases disposed of by the judicial officers. No consolidated list or data about the total deletions has been made public, and the electors can verify their own individual status online. So you can go individually. The Election Commission can correct us, but our estimate is it's about 26 lakhs. In the first phase of elections in West Bengal, in respect of 152 assembly constituencies, the last date for filing nomination forms is 6th of April 2026. The polling day for the phase is 23rd April 2026. For the second phase, 142 assembly constituencies, where the last date of filing nomination is 9th April and the polling date is 29th April 26. In terms of Section 23(3) of the RP Act 1950, the electoral roll is to be frozen on the last date of filing of nomination forms in respect of each constituency. At the rate at which the disposal of the cases under adjudication has taken place in the last 30 days, it will be extremely difficult for the judicial officers, in spite of their best efforts, to complete the adjudication in respect of first phase by 6th April or by 9th April for the second phase. To ensure that no eligible elector is left out, considering these extraordinary circumstances, this Honorable Court may consider issuing an appropriate direction deeming the freezing of electoral rolls 7 days prior to the polling date, that is 16th April 2026 for the first phase and 22nd April 2026 for the second phase, so that the under adjudication cases are disposed of by them. The Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court has, with a notification of 20th March, constituted 19 tribunals in respect of the districts of West Bengal to hear appeals against the UA cases. The Honorable Court may consider requesting the High Court to ensure that the tribunals are functioning with immediate effect, so that the electors found ineligible by the judicial officers may exercise the right to appeal, and the tribunals also have reasonable time to dispose of the appeals at least 7 days prior to the last date of polling in each of the phases. This Honorable Court may also direct the electors found eligible by these tribunals to be added to the supplementary voters list. The electors filing appeals may be allowed to be represented either on their own or through authorized representatives and be given an opportunity of hearing. For those cases which remain, this is just a suggestion, your lordships may consider it, because these are people, as your lordship know, who have been mapped. For those cases which remain pending under adjudication or under appeal even after the last date, they may be given a right to vote, since they are on the draft roll and admittedly mapped electors. In many instances, these electors may have been voters in previous elections. So we are suggesting this as a default mode. It is pertinent to note that there are at least, this is important, and this request will apply to candidates of all parties. It is pertinent to note that there are at least 14 candidates nominated by a political party who are presently marked under adjudication. They will not be able to file their nominations on 6th April 2026 if their case is not disposed of by then. For all candidates of all political parties who are under adjudication, their cases may be expedited and appeals also taken up on a priority. This Honorable Court may consider directing all subsequent supplementary lists to be published on a daily basis, so that there's no rush towards the end. So these are our suggestions.
So you heard Senior Advocate Shyam Devan suggesting a couple of recommendations before the Supreme Court that also included freezing of the voter list before the nomination filing process begins on 6th of April. And that also meant that those who are there in the adjudication list, they be given the benefit of doubt if the cases are not disposed of. And if they're already mapped, they be considered as a default voter. At this juncture, going back to the same moot argument, we have no clarity as how many people have made it back to the voter list. We know, as a matter of fact, the final voter list was published on 28th of February. And as per the 28th of February voter list, roughly about 58 lakh people have been deleted from the draft list. Another 7 lakh people were deleted before the final list was published. And those people were from Form 7 and also other verification deletions which happened under the scrutiny of Election Commission of India. So that made the number roughly about 55 lakh people have been deleted. 65 lakh people have been deleted from the final voter list. But then again, in the final voter list too, there had been a couple of disputes. People who were alive, they were shown dead. People who were dead, they were shown alive. So those matters also needed to be adjudicated. I'm sure there have been. But interestingly, people who have been shown under logical discrepancy, that number was quite humongous. Bafflingly, it was 60 lakh plus. So for about 60 lakh plus, the matter which went to the judicial officers, roughly about 705 judicial officers, who for the past 45 days had been working round the clock to ensure these cases can be adjudicated, they're essentially going back to the same documents they need to rely on, like what was expected from the Election Commission of India, or like the documents which have been decided by Election Commission of India as acceptable in this SIR exercise. So the judicial officers, while they were adjudicating these cases, we have no idea as how many people have now been adjudicated as a valid voter and how many of them have been adjudicated as not valid voters. We know, as a matter of fact, Election Commission of India yesterday said that 29 lakh cases have been disposed of. We do not know how many people have made it back to the final voter list. And today, Election Commission of India, through the advocate, had told the bench that they are willing to publish the supplementary list on a regular basis. That's bizarre. I'm sorry, in lack of better word, I'm using this word very consciously. Bizarre. Because in past 22 days, this is the first supplementary list which has come up. And it was the discretion of the Election Commission of India to release a list of 29 lakh people and not 1 lakh or 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs. They could have broken down this 29 lakhs in couple of multiple lists that would have given people more window to seek redressal from the tribunal, which is level 2 after this, or level 3, I would say. Level 1 was Election Commission of India camps, level 2 judicial officers, and level 3 you have a tribunal. So if you are not happy with what the judicial officers have decided, you can now appeal before a tribunal. Basically, for 29 lakh cases and cases after that, the window period before election and seeking redressal is only shrinking with every passing day. So yesterday at midnight, the list was supposed to come out. The list apparently came out. You still cannot access it now. So basically, anybody wanting to seek redressal, if being rejected by the judicial officers, for them the time period is only shrinking to seek redressal from the tribunal. So that's essentially what is happening. But nonetheless, the Election Commission of India today said before the bench that they are willing to publish, supplementary lists on a regular basis. Listen in.
We have already given proposal to the Honorable Chief Justice. We have already given a proposal to the Honorable Chief Justice to explore the possibility. We are willing to publish the supplement list even daily. As and when the list is ready, we are publishing daily. We will. And we have given the proposal to the Honorable
An extension
Chief
of the
Justice.
date, my lords, of
Yes.
freezing of rolls.
Another issue, please consider, because there is a differential between the last date of nomination.
Yes,
That
yes,
is the 152 assembly constituencies are closing on
Two-faced.
6th,
yes.
and the next is on 142 on 9. If it is possible for you to hive out the constituencies which are closing first, to be addressed first in the verification, and thereafter, or in
There's some more
phased
breathing
manner,
time as per the
phased
next
manner,
phase, even in couple
so
of.
that there is a complete verification before the 6th.
Perfect.
That's 152, and then 9, the remainder one.
We'll do that.
That
That's
will
a good
require your assistance, I mean, the ECI's assistance, because neither the judicial officers nor the Chief Justice will be in a position to marshal the documents and other
Yes.
papers, as well as the logistics of the judges moving from one district to another to address the specified assembly constituencies who are going to poll earlier.
Certainly.
Please work out that.
We'll do that.
So you heard it. The Election Commission of India is vowing to publish supplementary list on an everyday basis. I wish such vows are not made between married couples. I mean, they made a similar vow after the final list was published that they would be coming up with a supplementary list ASAP. And that ASAP has only happened in 22 days. And I will not blame the judicial officers. Judicial officers are adjudicating each and every case, and that on a real-time basis is going back on the website, getting uploaded as a feedback from the judicial officers. Judicial officers are not giving anyone any handwritten certificate which validates anyone as an Indian voter. So it's all digital, right? So on the same software, login IDs have been created for judicial officers. So they're logging into the same website where BLOs had also logged in, and now they're trying to adjudicate cases. The same website where DEOs or AERO or EROs have logged in so far to adjudicate cases is the same website where judicial officers are now logging in to adjudicate cases. So it's all digital, right? So Election Commission of India definitely had a feedback on a regular basis that, look, 10 people have been adjudicated today. 200 people have been adjudicated today. 3,000 people have been adjudicated today. So in a week's time, if there were 2 lakh cases adjudicated, they could have published the names of those who were adjudicated in the first 1 week. Try and make it, try and make it more real time, so that adjudication and publication of list, the time between the two, that can be reduced. And that is Election Commission of India's discretion. That is not the discretion of judicial officers. They decided for the numbers to compound to 29 lakhs. And today they have uploaded everything at one go and made it public for people. And people cannot access a file which is already public, because Election Commission of India's website crashes and it shows no adjudication found, no adjudication found. इसी तरह चलता रहा तो देश में किसी का एडजुडिकेशन नहीं हुआ है, फिर एटलीस्ट बंगाल में किसी का नहीं हुआ है। 60 लाख तो बहुत दूर की बात है। आप नंबर दे रहे हो 60 लाख और ढूंढो अगर 6 आदमी भी, आपको नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि हर एक पेज में एक कॉमन डिफॉल्ट रिस्पॉन्स है, adjudication data not found till 23rd of March 2026. And that's hilarious. And that as a backdrop when you keep, and thereafter hear what Election Commission of India is vowing before the Chief Justice of India, it sounds like a farce. It sounds like a big farce when you say that you are willing to publish your supplementary list on a regular basis without giving yourself a timeline, without giving people a timeline. Thus, everything sounds like a farce. Absolutely like a farce. We will be keeping a close watch on this. From day one, we have been dealing with the SIR data. And we never saw human cases as simply mere datas. We saw them human lives with flesh and blood. So for those who have been commenting all filth on this broadcast, calling me names, calling my team names, doesn't really affect us. They don't deter us. But calling those affected people names is only proving a label on you that you are less a human being. Because if you do not stand in a queue with documents in your hands and don't go through this anxiety of having to face a question as whether you are good Indian or Indian enough, I mean, you cannot really empathize with these people. I'm sorry to say. So what happened before the Supreme Court today, many would find less convincing. Maybe people wanted to hear something else. Maybe people wanted clarity as when the other people, other lists would be coming out. How soon can the adjudication get over? How soon and how frequently can supplementary lists come out in a realistic manner, not as vows made by Election Commission of India? Those questions have so far remained unanswered. So you have to wait and see what transpires in days to come, and most importantly, when the matter comes up for hearing on 1st of April again. So on behalf of me, my colleague Titash, and everyone else in the team, we thank you all for joining us in this broadcast. We would be keeping our eyes very closely focusing on the SIR issue in Bengal. And while the Supreme Court may wonder as why there are so many issues coming out from West Bengal and not from other places, well, we do not really have an answer to that. But we find the people who are standing in queue, they are in trouble. And if they are in trouble, their stories will be told. Thank you so much for joining this broadcast. Hope to see you very soon.